Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to explain the poem The Cherry Tree. This poem is written by poet Ruskin Bond. The poem Cherry Tree is about the ecstasy of the poet over a plant which he has seeded 8 years ago. It was a seed of a cherry tree which took 8 years to grow. In the poem, Ruskin Bond expresses his wonder at the nature works hard to survive in difficult conditions against all the odds. 8 years ago, the poet planted a cherry seed because he wanted to have a plant of his own. The young poet used to water it daily, but he was unaware of the fact that cherry plant needs extra special care to grow into a healthy tree. In spite of getting any special attention, by the end of the May, the poet saw the small cherry sapling coming out of the ground. It was a very small plant, young and fragile, vulnerable to all the kinds of external dangers. Tall wild grasses grew all around it, and goats ate its leaves. And then one day the grass cutter's blade mercilessly split it apart. Its tender stem also bravely fought the heavy monsoon, and even after all these, the poet saw new shoots growing out of it as the young tree made its struggle against the nature to survive and fiercely made an upward thrust to get light and air and sun. The poet could now just wait and watch while he took pleasure on seeing his small cherry plant blossoming into a tree as time and rain nourished it. And like a miracle, the tree grew, too stubborn to give up. Then it was time for the poet to say goodbye to his beloved tree as he went to Kashmir to spend a season there. The poet returned after a few months to find a 6 feet high dark cherry tree at his doorstep. To his disbelief, he saw a small berry fruit hanging from a branch. In his ecstasy, the poet lay on the grass whole day at leisure to look up to the cherry tree as the finches flew past and the birds flocked in and out of the tree and the bees drank nectar from each bloom. Soon it was dark and stars lit the whole night sky, and the moon moths and crickets sang. As the poet enjoyed the rapture of the nature and felt himself akeen with it, he marveled at his own creation, the small cherry plant that has grown into a big tree over the span of 8 years. In the ending couplet, the poet associates himself with the nature and creator as he takes pride for being part of it. Now I'll explain the figures of speech in the poem. The line pink, fragile, and quick to fall is an example of climax. The figure of speech is called climax, where successive words, phrases, sentences are arranged in ascending order of importance. Here, the cherry blossoms, turns pink, and later on ripens. Its arm in fresh fierce lust is an example of personification because A tree has been attributed human quality of having arms. A tree had come to stay is an example of personification because a tree has attributed human quality of coming and staying. But cherries have a way of growing, though no one's caring very much or knowing, is an example of antithesis because opposite idea of growing without caring are seen in the lines. The lines made a miracle from green growing pain is an example of alliteration because a consonantal sound G is repeated rhythmically. Lines its arms in a fresh fierce lust is also an example of alliteration because a consonantal sound F is repeated pleasingly. Now I'll explain the important word meanings present in the poem. Please write these word meanings down. Scythe, a tool with a curved long blade at right angle to a long handle used to cut long grass and grains. Blight is a plant disease, typically one caused by fungi such as mildews, rust, and smuts. Cricket is an insect characteristic for its musical chirping sound. Dapple means to mark with rounded dark patches. Dappled is past tense of dapple. Shriveled means dried or wrinkled or shrunken due to lack of moisture. Ecstasy means a feeling of great happiness. Nectar is a sweet fluid secreted by flowers. Flitted is to pass lightly, softly, or rapidly. Fragile means weak. Blossoms means the flowers that bloom on trees. Finch is a small passerine bird. Miracle is a welcoming or happy event developing by chance that cannot be explained with a reason or science. Scarcely means almost not. Ripened is a form of ripen, is to become or make ripe. Jeweled means adorned with jewels. Lust means a strong desire. Fierce means aggressive. Thrust is to push with sudden impulse or force. Slender means thin, struggle. Friends, here we end with the poem. So, please write figures of speech in your textbook. Also write the word meanings which I have explained. Keep watching and please like, share and subscribe the videos. Thank you.